Now, sports from the FNBO Sports Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
It's a football highlights type of Monday here on the update for today. We were at Bearcat Stadium where the marquee game of the high school football week from the region took place last Friday night. Scottsbluff hosted Class B number 6, the Aurora Huskies. Aurora, the definition coming in of an outstanding team that hadn't won a game yet. Scottsbluff was looking to see how much they'd improve since being bounced 54-3 from the playoffs by the Huskies last year. After some defensive stops for both these teams to start the game, the scoring got started over halfway through the opening stanzas. The Huskies get on the board first with a touchdown pass from Drew Canoose to Wade Olson, that one covering 17 yards. Aurora would extend on that lead in the closing moments of the opening quarter when their load of a running back, this guy was big, Carlos Collazo, got loose on a 16-yard run that made it 14-0. Would the Cats have a response? Yes, they would. On 4th down and goal, it was Josiah Mobley barreling in from the 1, and then the same thing on the 2-point play as the Cats cut the lead to 14-8 at that point. After a botched onside attempt, the Huskies answered quickly just 37 seconds later, and again, Collazo scoring his second rushing touchdown of the night. They went for 2, and with the conversion, it was Aurora leading 22-8. A real dagger blow from Aurora with under a minute to play in the half when Canoose took to the air and hit Carson Stair for a 43-yard touchdown, and the Huskies led 29-8 at the halftime break. Let's move things to the third quarter now. And really, Scottsbluff was in control for most of this quarter with some really good ball control on offense. They took off nearly 9 minutes of the clock on their opening drive of the quarter and scored when Braden Stoll ran around the edge of the defense. Tack on another 2-point conversion attempt, and it was the Cats hanging around down 29-16. Now, late third quarter in Aurora, they've got more in the tank. It's Canoose to Preston Raymakers this time. This one covered 30 yards to push the Aurora lead back to 20. Now, fourth quarter, the Cats strike again with Stoll, scampering in from 15 yards out. And with that score at that point, 36-22, and Scottsbluff would get no closer in this one. For Collazo, once more, for good measure. The 5-yard run, this guy finished with right near 150 yards rushing on the night. Aurora outgained Scottsbluff 459-276 total yardage on offense. Scottsbluff will welcome in a Sterling, Colorado team this week that's been outscored 155-0 in 3 losses so far this year. For Gering on Friday night, a barometer game that went all wrong. Hastings entered 0-3 while the Dogs were hoping for their second win of the season. It was all Hastings in this one as they got out to an insurmountable 20-0 lead at halftime and wound up with the shutout road win over at Gering 33-0. This outcome continued the almost unbelievable run against Class B teams for Gering. They've won just 1 game against a Class B opponent since October of 2013. The task this week doesn't look all that fun either, as they'll head up north to take on 3-0 Chadron, where the Cardinals have outscored their opponents so far 107-7. That was a look back at football from Friday night. Early week prep action tomorrow, TV and radio. Scottsbluff hosting North Platte. That'll be doubleheader softball action. Note that radio broadcast will be on KMOR 93.3. Meanwhile, tomorrow night, it's the first matchup of the season between Scottsbluff and Gering in volleyball. The Bulldogs playing host for our TV radio contest tomorrow night. And now some Cougar volleyball. They split 2 matches at NJC over the weekend there in Sterling, falling to number 1. They bounced back nicely, though, to get a win over number 6, Utah State Eastern. They'll have their first home matches of the entire schedule so far this season coming up this weekend. 3 matches total Friday and Saturday at Cougar Palace. That will do it for today. The latest from right here at the FNBO Sports Desk. I'm Chris Cottrell.